Alright, so it's been about 6 to 8 hours that I've had the command console clamped here, and it is a really nice tight seal going on. I've held this up to the lamp and nothing has been visible through it. So what I want to do now is basically test how long I need to cut each of these fiber optic threads to make it to the tubes that I've already installed, and I will have to install other. To get the slow heartbeat of a spaceship, I'm going to be using at least 2 different sequencers, possibly 3. I want them all set at different rates so that while some lights are on, some are coming on or going off, and that is going across entire banks and banks and banks of lights. So this is about how long I need the piece to be. May as well call it a ½ foot, and I got to get there's the yardstick. So indeed, this length is just about a ½ foot, so that's all I really needed to know. At this point, what I have to do, apart from thread up all of these guys, is start attaching all the wall pieces. So I'm going to start with this one here and finish that side off, I guess. That fiber optic will thread through here for now. I'll save the seats until later. We'll put this wall up and start working our way around. The freezer tubes will go in afterwards. The silver egg holders will go in sooner than later, I think. That'll be followed up by this wall. I've got to get the background picture for the space pod, and basically I can insert that through the bottom after, so I don't have to have that right now. But I do need to have this insert wall before that piece goes down. So as I mentioned, this was clamped down a good 6 or 8 hours, so I think I'm going to be holding each piece down for a few hours each, which means this could take a few days to get this really done and going. The directions specifically say to start with one particular wall and move along in a particular direction. Let's see if I can find that real fast. Follow the following steps exactly to assure that the interior walls and the ceiling soffit will fit together properly. Left cockpit communication wall 56 to floor number 3. Communication center 45. Then it goes on support beam, wall number, support beam, wall number. I don't know which number 49 is or 48. Wall 50. Wall 15. So their idea in the directions is pretty similar to what I was going to do. I don't know if I'm going to be going in the same order they are. I think they're working this way around, or go that way and around. Either way, you're going to get there. But one thing they're suggesting is to test fit all the pieces in place first. Then, once the ceiling soffit fits, and you make sure all the wall pieces fit together, then go ahead and take them apart and glue them. So I am going to heed that direction now, and let's get these pieces in place and see what this looks like. I've removed the tabs from the bottom of this. So this does fit together a little better than it's showing right now. There's a little spacing between the walls over here. That goes away once you actually set everything in place. One major surprise has been that the command console does not fit the area here. I had the original pegs here, nothing has moved in that regard, but there's a distinct wedge on this side. And then of course there's this nightmare bend over here on this side. I could warm this plastic into shape and kind of bend it outwards, I guess, but I don't imagine it should be like that. Really, this piece wants to be straight like this with that much space in between it, and I can't imagine that is the way this is supposed to be. The one photo of the one angle of the interior that I can see here, no? Yeah, I mean that wall should be straight on. None of those holes have changed, none of those tabs have changed, and I'm sure the last time I dry fit this all, this probably fit much better. That can be adjusted for easily enough, though I would have to patch those 2 holes. Everybody sing it with me. This is the floor that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend. This is the floor that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend. So, it turns out that before gluing down the command console, I should have test fit it first along with the other ones. Had I gone for glue just now, that would have been a major total game-changing end disaster right there. So, I had to pull up the command console because the walls didn't fit, and indeed the receiving peg was just off to the side far enough to throw everything off. And while it had been glued down, I also did a little extra drilling away of space to get the most I could out of the underneath area there. So we're repairing that, and since we're repairing that, I'm also going to do a job on this. I'll cut myself a new stencil. This needs to be shaved down just a little over the last few hours as it has expanded. Let me do that now. I went overboard on the area that I had to fill in, just for good measure. So I'm going to give this 12 hours, see how it's doing in the morning. I'll cut the styrene backer appropriately, and we'll move on from there. And since I'm repairing that, I may as well repair that a lot better. It's all shaved down, nice and flat. Gonna sand it a little with some 1500 in the area, and I think we're going for the third dark brown coat. This layer had gotten misty with that matte clear, so I'm gonna go with the future Pledge Floor Care finish. Gonna go for a nice gloss. Screw it. Let's make this baby shine. I still have the cutting jig for the central circle, so I should be able to cut another one that's just about perfect. The trick will be getting the decal or the vinyl back down on the absolute center. Those are the only two modifications I'm seeing. Any of this area here that's still screwed up, it can be. Same with that area there. All that's going to get blocked off and won't be seen at all, so no troubles. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to modify while I'm at it. The back room came out really nice. I've been considering doing the space pod room, but screw it. I'm just going to put a light at the bottom to help illuminate the area. Not necessary. So I'm really glad I did that test fit of all the parts before actually gluing them, because that would have been a genuinely true nightmare. I'm happy to have made this sacrifice here with this screw up to have saved doing that major screw up. And now that I'm looking at it, I should paint the elevator while I'm at it. In fact, I'm going to fill in that area because I cut the tab off of that wall. Let's take a look at that. Actually, I don't want to do too much moving on this and flexing all that stuff up there. But yeah, I do need to do this repair now. So I've gone and taped this off pretty good overall. Nice and tight. I'm not too concerned about the back side here at all. It is in fact the front that has to be nice and even with the walls and such. One little strip of this will be painted dark brown, and then the whole bottom area will be 1706 to match the walls down there. And here's a look at these things from another angle. That looks far messier than it actually is. Most of that is under the console. The one thing I've been saying all along is that I really don't want to move too fast. I want to take it as slow as possible, not screw up. Gluing the command console down was definitely short-sighted, and that's the kind of thing you gotta not only look for, but if it happens to you, follow up and fix it. The other thing I wasn't too happy about, and maybe it can be seen here and maybe it can't, I think it can, there's a light bit of haze. It just lightens up the darkness, but it's got to be somewhere in the finish. So this stuff has reliably worked. I just actually sprayed this piece with this new matte clear here, and that's fine. So I don't quite know what really happened here, but it's definitely been a bit of a disappointment. However, given the history of this floor piece overall and all the stuff that has gone on with it, this is definitely not to be unexpected. So these are the kind of punches that you really got to roll with when you're working on any model kit, and you just can't be afraid to screw up. It's by pushing yourself that you really learn how to react to really bad situations, and then you can use these skills later on to improve yourself. So never look at a mistake as something bad. It's always, well, it's not always fun, but generally it's good to make them, is the way I see it. So we'll give this overnight, and I'll patch this right now.